Salty mast. Right, I'll go to the piers first.
Alright then.
I read these guys.
Good day, stranger.
An old man paces the dock and looks out over the water. He's fussing over something large and round, which he constantly shifts from one hand to the other. You're not certain whether his wide-eyed, gape-mouthed expression marks surprise or fear. It seems he isn't either. Or you don't look like a guard. He examines you and your equipment more closely. Say, you wouldn't be interested in making some coppers, would you? He shows you the object in his hand. It's a large round opal with Engwithan runes carved into it. It glistens with his sweat. See the ship that went down over there? I've been looking for someone to help me recover some missing cargo. Tell me more about this missing cargo. He licks his lips. We started in cold morn and were making our way down the river, loading and unloading as we went. Business as usual. So what exactly happened? He massages the opal in a clammy palm. When we reach Aina's Rest, we may have agreed to take on a few crates from some place called Gleven Rilag. A couple of the lads snuck a peek at the cargo, saw suits of armor and a broken scepter. He shrugs. Don't know why anyone would want a broken anything, but these animancers will buy dirty stockings if you say they came from the ruins. He closes his hand around the opal in a white-knuckled grip. We were almost to Defiance Bay when the screaming started. I've seen my share of barroom brawls. Right, it's barroom, but because it's fitting together, it's barroom. Yeah, barroom brawls, but this sounded different. I was topside with the captain, but he and the first mate went below decks to see what all the commotion was about. When they didn't come back, I looked into the hold. He shudders. I saw one of those suits of armor walking around all by itself. It was covered in blood. When it saw me, it started running for the hatch, so I closed it. He squeezes his eyes shut. Interesting. It's probably a vessel of some sort at that point. Or it could be a magical construct, but I don't know how this game would classify that. So how did the ship get here? He rolls the stone between his hands. I'm just a deckhand, but I was the only one left. I piloted the ship as best I could, but I hit rocks as we were passing Brackenbury. I barely made it to Ondra's Gift before I had to jump overboard and swim for the docks. I'd given up on the cargo, not to mention the payday, when one of the lads pulled this up in the nets. Shows you the opal again. It's part of that scepter. From what I can tell, were 3 other pieces. And I'd bet you anything they're somewhere in the shallows too. If anyone could find them, there'd be profit to follow. Survival 7. Right. There must be a reason you haven't gone looking for the rest of the artifact yourself. I'm lucky to have escaped the ship like I did. I'm not taking a chance with those things. So why haven't you talked to the Crucible Knights about this? And admit that I was smuggling relics? He shakes his head. I doubt they'd arrest me, but I also doubt I'd see any coin from this. Okay, so what happens if I find the rest? You find the missing pieces of the artifact, and I've got an animancer friend from my expedition days who'll find you a stack of copper. He scratches his beard. All I want out of this is a few £100 for my lost payday. If that sounds fair to you, I'll give you the stone and the name of my contact once you have everything else. The Matul regards the opal again. Seeing as the kid dredged this stone up in the net, I'd wager you could probably find the missing pieces out in the shallows during low tide. The Mattel gazes out over the water. Anything else you find? Anything else you need? I would definitely consider buying it. The relic would probably be more useful to my mages than something I would just give away for a handful of coins. Uh, the metal doesn't sound like a Derwooden name. Do you know anything about this place? Hunter's gift. He scratches his sunburned scalp. We've got docks, fishing, steady ship traffic, all this. He waves at the listing shanties crowded against one another. They sprang up around the docks. It's the poorest district in Defiance Bay, but one of the liveliest. He grins. And for lively, nothing beats the salty mast. You'd do better to ask a younger man than me if you want to know about that place. He nods toward a large round building to the east. Okay, about the relic. Do you have any idea what your Animancer friend wants with this relic? She was always tinkering with these things back when we were young. He used to think she was a fool retiring to some dusty study in Brackenbury. After that horror on the boat, I'm thinking she made the wiser choice. Right. That actually sounds something like we would be interested in doing. No, they're the two guys we need to talk to. Otherwise I'll forget about them. Wouldn't that be a shame? You see a man probing a lock, hunting for the click 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 of success. It takes him more than a moment, but there it is. Click. He turns the needle further. Click. A smidge more. Click. His smile is all smug self-assurance as he pushes into the well-fortified building. He shivers as he steps over the threshold, pupils contracted briefly as the door swings shut of its own accord behind him. Click, click, click. Locked. He moves through the silent building, no subtlety to his search. He pockets nothing, despite the slack-jawed ache in his face as he passes over jewelry and potions alike. Nobody stops him as he slinks from room to room. He is alone, uninterrupted in his search. Finally, in a dingy, dust-encrusted room he finds a trapdoor, carelessly hidden beneath a fraying carpet. The lock is rusted, old and crude, and breaks with ease as he takes his sword tilt to it. He whistles through his teeth at the collection before him. Hammers of Adra, obsidian blades, dragon-scale armor. He replaces his sword with an enormous symboled blade of black, and takes as much else as he can carry. Dropping the trapdoor back down, he hears a wailing, piercing screech. Panicking, he tries to run, but his collection is too heavy. He curses, dropping all but the sword, and scales a bookcase to a barred window. He smashes the glass with his sword and begins to bash at the old iron bars. Shouting in the distance renews his desperation, and with a great clang the bars fall from the window. He squeezes through the opening, every inch of exposed skin cut with glass, and runs. The obsidian blade on his back, glowing gently in the dark night. See a man lying on a mat, restless in sleep. He tosses about, unable to claim total peace. Behind his lids his eyes dart about, and small moans of distress escape his lips. He rolls around, moving from lying on his back to his side onto his back again, sweat standing out on his forehead. The door to his chamber slowly opens, the weak light from the hall outside falling across the sleeping man's face. This man, much younger than he is now, steps lightly into the room. His feet rise and fall as he crosses the floor with calculated precision, never once making a sound. He approaches the man on the mat, slowly raising two daggers as he does. He stands over the man, staring down at him. intense hatred burning behind his rocky features. He doesn't move, a statue poised to strike at the man's bedside. The man's eyes fly open, blinking in confusion, trying to drive the sleep from his mind. He sees the boy standing over him, daggers at the ready, and the blinking stops. Terror replaces the confusion, and he only has time to say one word. You! Before the boy is on him. He drops, planting a knee in the man's neck, and plunges one of the daggers into his stomach. The boy leans over, tilting his head back to reveal a large black scar that cuts across his neck from the right side of his jawline to the left collarbone. The man gurgles and makes a muffled coughing sound, trying to speak through his crushed windpipe. The boy looks at him again, locking eyes and holding his gaze as the man slowly slips away. He then lifts both daggers and brings them down into the man's eyes.
A dozen Adiran ships were shattered against these levees during the War of Defiance. Best to heed the astrologers, I find, where tides are concerned.
Place gets my blood beating in all the right places. A simple test. That's settled.
This young lanky sailor is wringing his cap anxiously, sweat beading on his furrowed brow. His eyes widen as you approach, and he takes a few steps forward.
Hello.
If you a moment, you're not from around here, right? Don't look like you're from the docks. He looks around nervously. I could use your help. What's the problem? Oh, thank you. They weren't lying, saying you're the kind-hearted sort. He runs a hand through his hair nervously. It's the captain, or rather, not the captain himself, but his chest. His sea chest. He keeps all his valuables in there, tucked away safe. I was unloading it with the rest of the things what with us staying in port a couple of days, and he coughs. I may have gotten a little distracted. Marcino nods towards buildings nearby. I wasn't gone long, just an hour at the salty mast. When I got back, the chest was gone. He sets a pleading look on you. It really hasn't been that long. Whoever took it can't be too far. But the shit's changed, and I'm on watch. I can't sneak off to look for it, and the captain will kill me if he hears of it. I'll get sprung up on the yard arm. Please, if you could get it back for me, I swear by the flame, I'll make it worth your while. You can have my pay. I won't be spending it if Captain Fortanero finds out anyway. Any ideas where the thieves might have taken the chest? Well, the chest itself is pretty heavy. Nobody I've asked has seen it getting carried around either. I figure they must have snuck it off somewhere nearby, just out of sight. It can't have gone far. There's a pretty good lock on it too, so I'm hoping they haven't got it open. Unless they take an axe to it, I suppose. Oh gods, he takes a breath. If they've got it open, I'm really done for. I just looted. Okay, what makes you think I'm... So you're a sailor? Yes sir, signed on about half a year back. Pay's decent, and the sight of the sun coming up over the sea, I wouldn't give that up for anything. Besides, I just wish I'd ask around about the captain first. But... Missing crate. Is that the missing crate? You would think he would notice something like that, though. And it wasn't a stealing effort on my part either.
I've a shiver, won't leave my spine.
Okay, something definitely wrong with the lighthouse. You're screaming. Fire the proper key.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Is there an actual tide in this game? So you can access some place with the low tide. Maybe it was this ship. What do they say about this mission? What is it? All hands on deck. Find Marcino's missing crate. Find missing pieces of Engwitten's scepter. Retrieve the stolen scroll. Cite Eon's fate. I don't even recall where he is anymore. Ah yeah, the catacomb. Blade of the Endless Path. Yeah.
Good day to you.
As you approach, she eagerly turns to you. You interested in doing some construction work? Her clothes are simple, but nicer than most you've seen in Ondraskip. Pays good money. Yeah, I don't know much about construction. No need. At this point, I take anyone who can put hammer to nail. I take it you're having trouble finding workers. Workers who aren't superstitious cowards, anyway. She shakes her head. I offer good coin, but as soon as I tell them about the job, they say an oath to the Lady of Lament and spit over the deck. They all think the lighthouse is haunted ever since the floods of Ondraskip. Echoes of the war. The flood certainly claimed enough souls to pack a lighthouse full of to bursting. Have you gone inside? Who, me? She laughs nervously. Not exactly. See, my health is rather delicate, and all that dust. He sighs. All right. When I saw two Aumawa deckhands running as fast as they could down the pier, I lost my nerve too. I could take a look. I can't go inside without a key anyway, so... Good! About time someone put an end to this foolishness. He rummages in her pockets and pulls out a skeleton key. She hands it to you. She hesitates. Just be careful. Not that I believe in the ghost stories, but it is an old building, so watch your step. Okay. What are you building? An inn, allegedly. She brushes a single loose strand of her bun behind her ear. The gift needs a spot with a little more class than the Salty Mast. This district has been in the dumps since the War of Defiance. It seemed ready for some fresh development, so imagine my excitement when I found this place, 3 floors tall and right on the water, for sale at a reasonable price. The seller suggested that there were other interested buyers, so I closed the deal before I'd taken the time to really look into it. Stupid. She shakes her head. Being from New Heomar, I knew about the floods, but I didn't know about the superstitions surrounding the lighthouse, and the seller was long gone by the time I found out. At this point, There'll be a miracle from the Lady's Lament herself if I make my investment back. Yes. You are not from Defiance Bay, are you? Yeah, she just said that. Being from New Helmar. So, ignore stupid questions. Do you know what it might be inside? No, she said she hasn't visited there. Right. I'm going to go to the Salty Mast and the other districts. Simply because we have a timer with the Stronghold missions that we can send the extra people to. And I'd like to send more than one person there if it's at all possible. So I'm not doing these. Trying to get to new people if at all possible. Ooh. So maybe the game does have low tide. What is this for? What the fuck is that? Rain Blight, Animat. They're trying to knock us down. Right. I'm not quite sure what would be the best way to handle these. They don't seem that powerful.
How may I help you? I'm ready.
Well, the Rain Blight is certainly much more dangerous than the rest. I need to try to get rid of these quickly.
Lava.
They're immune to piercing damage. Interesting. Don't think we need to do much here though. It's not exactly going to survive.
Hey.
Yeah, did not expect enemies. What are these? Ingwithan shields. 10 deflection, minus 10 accuracy. Not particularly good shields though. Primal water, finding copper. Shattered animate armor. So this is the quest we were already talking about.
Slowly now.
Right. Wasn't my intention to come here, but at the same time, we're already here. Yeah. Think Witten's Scepter Shaft. So if it's not any more dangerous than this, I don't see why we shouldn't be taking care of this now. Probably another fight somewhere around here. Right, but our primary objective is still to try to see if we can get extra party members from the city. Seems to be the largest city on the game map, so I would expect this to... If there is extra guys we can get, I would expect more than one from this place. Quest completed.
And the fire shows me something new.
3 pearls and some money. Immunity to electricity piercing, weak against frost and crushing. Not sure about these.
What?
Want to test something. No. Yeah, yes.
Hey. All right then.
They're highly resistant. Highly resistant in general. Don't really care about fire either. Not sure if I get good hits in though. Crackling bolt. Yeah, 2 grazes, 1 hit. Ooh. Thanks.
Elon.
Right. Spot on! What the fuck are you doing? You went right in the middle of it. Of course you did. Now you're already tied down. We have area of effect damage. Do a little bit of extra damage on our own guys. Alright, they're screwing her over. Don't like that. It's fundamentally because of their starting position. Yeah, they don't give a shit about piercing or slashing, really. You could use a secondary weapon with secondaries. Secondary damage type. We could affect them mentally. We did have cold spells. You noticed that. Chill fog. Do you have anything against resist? Ooh, mind affecting. Ooh. Rain Blight. Small Rain Blight. Okay, just do some damage. I need to play this guy out of the fight. Crushing damage. Explain. Play him out of the fight. Probably going to have to rest anyway soon. Ooh, 4. We can try our new spell.
Yes? Roak 10!
These worms are actually quite capable. Wonder what damage type they do. Doesn't particularly matter, but it'd be nice to know.
Brave thou not believe.
Monies and potions.
Hey,
Right, not bad.
Let's see what lies this way.
We should have all the pieces for the scepter now. Barnacles encrust the hull of this beach boat. Something, the jagged under fingers most likely, has clawed deep rifts into the wood. Whoever tried to sail through them must have been desperate or inexperienced. Just scrolling, see if we can stumble upon something useful. Why does this place exist? Because of this. Mud squelches underfoot. Crabs scuttle out of the debris. What is this? Daring. A young boy's corpse lies at your feet, half covered in dirt and seaweed. His hands have stiffened around a dagger. A soul lingers nearby, something confused and lost in this seaside fog. As you reach for the soul, it lashes out. Glowing mist strikes at the air around you. The soul can't touch you, but you feel it burn with a feeble, uncontrolled rage. It's okay, I'm here to help you. The soul flickers. It ripples toward you, timidly at first. As it swirls around you, you experience wonder, fear, and the joy of running between the ships at noon. With a jolt, it pulls you into the streets around the salty mass. Women with painted faces weave between men stumbling in and out of the lamplight. Father's gone in for a drink, just like always. He said he'd only be a few minutes, but it's been hours. The man guarding the door only laughed when you tried to explain this. There's always a back door. In an alley, two men have cornered a woman. Her cheeks are streaked with tears. She is backed against the wall and looking away. They're inching closer. You step forward. The men barely acknowledge you, but the woman looks at you, a plea in her eyes. You've seen that look in abused strays. In your hollow-born sister, that time father took her from her splintering cradle to the filth wash basin. You were brave that day. A knife is in the thug's belt. It's in your hands, and now it's in his thigh. You are small and fast, but not fast enough. Fingers bite into your arm, and a muddy boot sails toward your face. Then everything is muffled by cold, blackish water. The soul retreats from you. It pulses with a question. You did a brave thing. Gods will reward you in the next life. Karin's soul absorbs this thought and ebbs in the ocean mists around the dock. As you regain awareness of what's happening around you, you realize that your head is in Pelagina's feathered hands. Her golden eyes are peering into your own, as though she is trying to catch a glimpse of activity lurking in the depths. As she sees your eyes respond, she wobbles your head a little and gives you a light slap. Letting go and stepping back, she regards you with concern. Everything going all right in there? Young, Take the dagger. The boy's small hands are rigid in death, but you pry the dagger free. It looks too large and too expensive to have belonged to him. The letter B is carved into the pommel. Murder mystery. Fox dagger. Ah, another murder mystery. Grab the purse and go. Ah, he's alive. Noble. This man's fancy clothes are ripped and blood flows from a fresh cut above his eye. He tries to push himself up, but his arm is shaking. He winces painfully. Help him up. Thank you. He gasps as he rises. My head. What happened? He carefully dabs at his bloody nose with a silk handkerchief. I was just on my way to the club. He slowly stretches out one leg, grimacing at his scraped knee. It's a rough part of town, but the rebels never been violent. Even a night with Igali isn't worth this. He limps away. The mast? Right. Usually these tend to be interesting places in games. The prostitution part not so much, because at best it's like, okay, take this 100 copper pieces and let's have a fade to black. Nothing happens, no dialogue, nothing spills around it to make it even remotely worthwhile. But there's usually interesting people there. Lefty Lisk, Walder Three Fingers. Ah, okay, these are the ones who stole the crate. 4 people stand gathered around what appears to be a wooden chest. One of them, a grizzled and rough-looking character, looks up at you and then sneers. Took a wrong turn somewhere, did you? Best turn around and walk on. There's a sudden snapping sound from the direction of the chest, and a second, smaller man lets out a frustrated groan. Damn it, that's the second lock. He looks up at you and stills. Oh. Walder rolls his eyes and turns to you. You walked down your last year. Okay, they're rogues. We can't let them flank us. that would be that. They're probably very high on reflex, probably low on fortitude though. Try the days then. Have to wait a little while for them to gather up. Pretty willing to bet fortitude works fairly well against them. Go to defense mode. I want to be able to tie them up fairly well. Right. Right. Fortitude damage saving throw spells do damage extremely well. There's so many of them that I do feel I do have to try some disabling effects. What are you doing? We need to just prevent flanking at all costs. Yeah, this is exactly what we need to prevent. Shit. They're not exactly stupid, they know what works. Exactly can you do? Right. They're desperately trying to fight flanking positions, and they're not bad at it either. Please contribute to killing someone. Ooh, Boulder of Three Fingers is right in the middle of us. Where in the hell did that happen? Yeah, now you're gonna be paralyzed. Fuck over. I can't risk it getting so close to the casters. Right. What happens? Criticals. Oh, paralyzed for 17 seconds. Sickened. And I think these do a significant amount of damage too. No, they don't do any damage. Either way, he's in a terrible position. Kill him. The fighters are doing fairly well on their own. At the same time, if I were to lend a little bit of aid, they would probably be able to get rid of the thug or two by the time this paralysis ends. Which means, could you just beat the shit out of him in the meanwhile? We don't want to be here when the paralysis ends. Okay, let's use Flames of Devotion. Do some speed damage, burn damage. But, what sure. How are we supposed to use this? Calls upon the paladin's inner fire, causing their equipped weapons to burst into flame and adding burn damage to their next attacks. Yeah, but just clicking on this doesn't do shit. Ah, now it's there. And they have the clock still there. Right. Not a bad fight overall. Anything interesting? Not really, no. I think our first battle act. Bonus critical damage. Okay.
Of course. I shall be discreet.
Requires the proper key. Suppose we need to just report that we found it. If the thief's dead, I can collect the chest. This sea chest bears a large embossed sigil of a ship and the word Fortanero beneath it in gilded letters. It's held shut by a heavy brass padlock. Leave it alone for now. I want to check the edge of the pier. It's a dead end. I'm guessing we might transport the chest if we choose to do it. Complete the quest, I mean. So I just want to make sure there's nothing of real interest here.
I'll see what I can find.
Ah, two tails. Could be something interesting at the end of it. You see an elven woman, her colorless complexion almost invisible amidst the falling snow. She's wrapped in white fur, tense eyes squinting in the glare. She moves rapidly, boots barely marking the snow underfoot, stepping glances behind her. A howl rises, quickly joined by another and another, and she loses a prayer to the wind as she begins to run. The wolves gain ground quickly, loping effortlessly toward her. She fumbles with her spellbook, but it's strapped in loops of leather on her back. Cursing, she changes course toward a jutting outcrop of ice. She can hear them now, hot breath crackling in the frozen air. Breathing hard, she tries to run faster, nose crinkling against the sweat down her face. Clammy. With a cry of relief, she reaches the ice and disappears. She falls into the small opening with a muffled thump, holding her breath as the wolves try to track her, confused in the snow above. She shivers uncontrollably from cold or fear and tries to wake. You see only the barest glimpse of a jagged, disfigured scar before it is hidden with a hood as the man prepares to leave. One window to another, scaling a trellis with soft gloved hands, he moves promptly through the upper stories of a careless city. The afternoon is lethargic, empty, and he quickly hits 3 targets: a scroll hidden in some noblewoman's cabinet, a bottle of dark red wine from the blackened and dilapidated cellar, a pouch of coins from a swift-waisted, overly rouged young elf. He buys himself dinner at an overly orange, rose-scrubbed inn, and swills the wine as he eats. But his eyes are on the door. He has barely finished when it closes behind a sour white elf, red eyes demanding answers. Unperturbed, he kisses her on the cheek, discreetly placing the scroll in her pocket, Before returning to his meal, a significant deal richer for the gold in his hand. Right.
Eyes open.
Just checking that there's no hidden things here.
Something over there.
Well, hello there. Right. Take the sea chest. I still want to visit the mast. Salty, salty mast. It's a good name.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
Right. I don't expect too much to be happening there. Maybe a quest or something like that. We already have a quest to come here though. So something about a expensive Within item on
Nothing
someone.
like this in Gilded. Just Wallaruna the milkmaid. She knew what she was doing. Overfried cod, watered ale, and
Well met,
prostitution. A bastion of Deerwooden culture.
Oriko catches your eye. A golden hoop dangles from one ear, and his fine-fitted clothes whisper as he glides over you. Having me at a loss, how could I afford time with such a magnificent creature? What are you talking about? I'm talking about your magnificent eyes and perfect lips. Truly it should be a crime for you to ever close them. He runs a finger along a perfectly symmetrical goatee. What can Oriko do for you? Right, so he's a prostitute then. Right. Yeah, the
I hope you
seductive
aren't expecting
dancing
to
is
find the leaden key
have been
in
noticed
here.
that.
Now to find a home for my other staff.
The Orlan man seems to walk with a slight limp. Ah. He doesn't say anything, but he stops and regards you with interest. What's wrong with your leg? He just laughs and shakes his head. You get stabbed. Big dermacy. Well, it's everyone a prostitute here.
Hail and well met.
The Aumawa woman watches you suspiciously. One hand is tensed at her side, but as you approach, she relaxes and gives you a friendly, if wary, smile. I don't see many outfitted like you who aren't looking for trouble. You aren't looking for trouble, are you? What kind of trouble are you having? A frown ripples across her blue facial markings. The kind that's bad for business. Local rowdies have taken to harassing my hard-working boys and girls and our customers. They started showing up after this rash of Hollowborn, and they've been driving my regulars away. She looks you up and down, scratching her chin. There aren't too many who care about what happens in places like the Gift, but word is you're an exception. The knights are too busy sniffing around Duke Avar to bother with us commoners, and I'd just as soon not deal with their bureaucracy anyway. Tell me about it. How can I help? Maya draws you closer. These thugs tend to roam in groups, which suggests to me these aren't random incidents. He places one large finger on your chest. You put a stop to these attacks and I'll find a real nice way to thank you. He winks. Got me? There's a look in Durance's eyes like a lion that has stumbled upon a herd of deer. His knuckles are white as he clutches his staff with both hands as he surveys the room. He laughs to himself, low and rumbling. I've got questions. Shoot! What do you know about these attacks? She waves a hand at the door. You only have to step outside to see it for yourself. Those thugs out there are just waiting to cause trouble for anyone coming or going. He sizes you up. Maybe they would have let you pass, however. Okay, tell me about the business. She rubs the back of her neck. It's not doing as well as I'd like with all this trouble. I run an honest enterprise, just trying to give folks a little rest and relaxation. He nods at you and lowers her voice. You help me out and I'll see about getting you a special discount. Okay, something else. Hmm. Tell me about the place. I thought that was clear as crystal waters below the decks. She laughs. This here is the Salty Mass, the most famous house of pleasure in Defiance Bay. We've got drinks, beds, and good company to help you enjoy both. Of course, the club for refined and prestigious gentlemen is upstairs. You'll find several of the hardest working boys and girls in Defiance Bay up there too. Can I order refreshment? Right. What exactly do you sell here? The basics. Higher adventures can rest. Dexterity, perception, lasts for 2 rests. Constitution, athletics. Athletics would actually be quite useful in certain situations. Retraining. And this. Right. Right. I need to ask about the woman.
Hail and well met.
Is there someone here named Zarel? She laughs. You must be new in town, dearie. She's only the most sought-after girl in the district. You want to spend time with her, just ask. She's 1,000 for the night, but she's worth every pound. Or so they tell me. Fancy a go with her? She notches you in the ribs. Best money you can spend in the gifts. No. Maybe I can do her the job and save myself 1,000. Yeah, I'm sure she's very experienced and attentive, but I doubt anyone's worth that, really. You see the prow of a ship slice through the deck of another, a Valiant spice vessel, and are immediately accosted by splintering wood and panic. The pirates are upon the ship in the space of a shout, all elbows, gold earrings and violence. Crewmen are hurled, shoved and punched off the deck as the dog-eared captain boards. The hunt begins immediately as water begins to claim the wounded merchant vessel. The largest cargo boxes are ignored entirely in favor of the smaller, more delicate boxes and jars. The captain stands, water snarling around his ankles, as he waits for each of his crew to return to the ship with their plunder. Counting them off, he takes a running jump and grabs the railing, hauling himself aboard as the remains of the merchant vessel are devoured by the ocean below. The crew applauds. Raucous cheers and laughter as they begin to sort through the valuable Valiant spices. The Fansington would eat well tonight. Jeffa. Wait, who? Lines tulips. Wade's eyes are red-rimmed and unfocused. He stares into a filthy mug as if searching for something. He shivers and takes another drink. Why don't you just take one of them stools over there? He swats the air in your general direction. Nowhere else for me to go. Not with the wife in a state and my boy, my... His face freezes with a stricken expression, and he turns back to the bar, muttering into his drink.
Gods keep you.
She leans on the bar, her black painted nails tapping the wood. What'll it be? Any of your regulars looking for work? What exactly am I asking? They've got to earn their ale money somehow. Take a look. Ah, right.
How do you do?
Tell me about the place. She arches an eyebrow. Every foreign sailor and visiting villager knows about the Salty Mast. It's the most famous brothel in Defiance Bay. She points to an Almoa woman. You want to know more? Just ask Maya. Okay. Older drunkard.
Good day, stranger.
His robes are torn and stained with vomit. He turns his eyeless face toward you, wiping his mouth. Come for a story. His speech is slurred and his voice ragged. I told all the best stories. He slaps his chest. It's my club anyway. What club? A club for refined and prestigious gentlemen. He prods your shoulder. Wait, if you don't know about the club, you must be... He heaves, catching his chest. After several precarious seconds, he recovers. Where was I? Oh, you must be here about the ring. The ring. He shoves it in your hand. Have to have that to get into the lounge. He hiccups. They don't let just anyone in, you know. He wipes a hand on his shredded robe. It's the most exclusive club in Defiance Bay. He slaps you on the back. And whatever you do, don't tell them you're new or... Turns away, overcome by a fit of dry heaving. I wonder... What is this really? Membership to the Club of Refined and Prestigious Gentlemen. Beneath its sigil is a motto inscribed in Eld Aederon, Freod and Ethmedu. Ugh, not more of these. You see a tall woman crouch over her drink, sitting alone in an unkept inn. What few other patrons are there leave her well alone, walking a wide berth as she drinks. Even the innkeeper avoids her eye as he serves her a procession of drinks, but she seems to take no notice. A man swaggers in, and he does take notice. With an imperious nod to the innkeeper, he seats himself next to the woman. Her bosom form his clear interest. She turns away from him, but he persists, reaching a hand across and touching her knee. In seconds he is prone on the floor, shocked and still scrambling to get up, and is prevented by her shoe on his throat. She raises an eyebrow, expression empty as he splutters for mercy. He's red by the time she relents, and she turns back to her drink as he scrambles backward and out the door, casting affronted glances behind him as he retreats. The other patrons shake their heads knowingly. You see the burned out shell of a room. A man stands in the middle of it, scorch marks around his feet, smoke rising from his fire-singed robe. Debris is littered about, broken shelves, torn and burned books, smashed chairs and sundered table. There are cracks in the wall, and light shines weakly through a small hole in the roof. Every window in the room has shattered, and a lamp lies on its side in the corner, burning oil forming a pool under it on the stone floor. The man looks around, surveying the wreckage, his eyes stopping briefly on the 5 bodies lying amidst the debris. They are twisted, burned, torn, and nearly unrecognizable. He turns back to the only living man remaining, sitting against the wall, legs and pelvis crushed under a heavy stone beam. The dying man stares blankly over the beam, blood running from the corner of his mouth. The uninjured man leans over, looking into the eyes of the other. "No other may have this knowledge," he says. The other man opens his mouth to speak, but this man has already walked away. He drops his hand to his side and speaks a short phrase. An inky drop falls from his hand and hits the ground, growing into a ring of black energy that extends outward. As it passes over the other man, he transforms. His skin becomes ashen and grey, his flesh desiccated and wrinkling in on itself. The ring extends past the man and blinks out of existence as his body, now nothing but ash, collapses in on itself. Okay, can we access all the areas? This seems to be a private area, probably for the leader of the place. This is certainly guarded, but it's not locked. Shit. I'd like to be able to report the scepter and the chest. Irinia, dwarven prostitute. Astoundingly, there's no spare change between these cushions. Wally. I would guess an elf. Aldwin. Man. A game of Dundred Roll seems to have ended abruptly with scattered cars and something else. Becke Ordo. Nice ring, you may enter. Right. Club of for refined and prestigious gentlemen. Wonder what that really is. Ruffle patrons. Cyril's guard, so you're not going in there. Ruffle patron, Jason and Vincent Dwellier. So one of these is probably the murder of the boy. Club of Refined and Prestigious Gentlemen quest book. The names scrawled in the quest book span pages of thick tome. Wonder if this is relevant. I'll take it.
Following your lead.
Hey,
Following the lead.
I'm ready.
What?
I'm ready.
The man looks down his nose at you. So, you're a member, I see. Are you here for the exclusive club equipment? Show me the sock. I've been collecting the finest equipment for over a decade. I guarantee you won't find a superior collection. Right, so it's a weapon salesman. 10,000 unique weapons. Plus 10 accuracy granted to an ally attacking the same target. Well, that's actually very good. Could even be given to a fairly standard secondary guy to buff their primary one's attacks. Great sword. It's not like we can afford these, but I'll corrode damage. Crits can hit inflict prone, okay. But it's good to see our options. Plus 8 exceptional. Plus 30% damage, plus 8 accuracy. Hunting bow. 8 accuracy, 30% damage. Not quite sure why these are unique. Attack speed increase. Fine. Unique pistol. The Maverick. I'm not really spotting what's special about these. Maybe about the more typical values. Haven't really paid attention to those. Great swords. How about a unique sword? That would be fine. Maybe a mace, something like that, so we could have the fighter have a better weapon. Unique sword. Slashing and piercing damage. Plus 8 accuracy, plus 30% damage. Exceptional sword. It's nothing amazing. We could even buy it now. Warhammer. Crush Pierce. Accuracy, plus 30% damage. I don't think these... Yeah, I don't think these are uniques, but they're uniques. I'm just not seeing what's so unique about them. Mace. Crushing damage. Exceptional crushing damage. I sort of want one of these. The sword itself is terrible against certain opponents, and we already have a sword, so why not try with something different? But basically these seem to be exceptional weapons, but they're unique. Slashing and piercing sword. Yeah, it just seems exceptional. Exceptional rod. No, fine. Piercing and slashing. I really don't get what's unique about these. Crown Axe. Sword of Pricks. Saber. I haven't seen all that many sabers. They seem to do a lot of damage for a one-handed weapon. Yeah. Spear, for example, does much weaker damage. Cloak of the Theocrat. Intellect and Resolve. Don Paco's Codpiece of Vigor. Okay, that sounds fantastic. It's a belt, probably. Alright, plus 2 Constitution. Plus 0.1 to critical damage modifier. Plus 1 Resolve. 10 defense against spells. Okay, that sounds actually very good. Plus 15 max endurance. And respecking options. Right.
I understand.
Hey,
I wonder are all the prostitutes. They're named, but I wonder if they're we could interact with them besides the prostitution part. Either way, I think we're done with this section of the city for now. I'll just return to quest that I have finished and leave it at that. Both of the other two sections of the city, hopefully, getting an extra companion out of that. I'm surprised we haven't found a rogue type of character. Well, it's probably because anyone can take
Have you
mechanics.
ever chased a skirt wizard? Or do you merely hide behind them?
Don't pawn your personal problems off on me.
They will use you, cast you off when it suits them, never speak another word to you.
Maybe they just don't answer to fiery whore.
Hey, thugs. What have we here? Another tourist in the gift? He nods to his shifty-eyed companions. Let's give him a proper welcome. Let's talk about this. He draws a sharpened blade and smiles. I'm afraid you're missing the point, friend. No, I can't talk to dead people, that's the problem.
Ray,
They're trying to knock me down. New mission, supply and demand. Well, they're going to have to come rushing here.
Elon,
I don't think they're too dangerous. Where's my cleric? Right, just do whatever. We should have area of effect attacks with the mages. Can we get rid of that? Okay, you. Stun them. Seems like this is the most useful ability to use at this point. Right. What is this? This old key looks like it's been rusted from years of exposure to this salty air.
Of course.
Find and confront the thugs. Belongs to a house in Ondraskir. Right. What missions did we have? One is the chest, but what was the other? Yeah, there were maybe tasks. Find Darren's family. Return to Marceno. The scepter, right. Chest and the scepter. Scepter. I don't actually recall where we found the guy the first time. Could be somewhere here. Near the pier, anyway. Was it you? We want the missing piece. not giving it
How do
away.
you do?
Okay, I have the 3 pieces. His bristled eyebrow rises to a peak. You mean you got past those armored monsters? I don't know how. He shakes his head. Listen, if you're willing, I'll give you the last piece. He holds up the opal. And the name of someone who'll buy it all. All I want is 200 pans for getting the cargo here. Sounds fair? We could try to just take it. We probably could just take it. You want 200 pans for locking the rest of the crew in the hold and sinking the ship? 200 isn't too much. And we wouldn't have these without him. And he's pretty much here without anything. So I don't think 200 is unreasonable either. He accepts your money and gives you the opal. It's still warm from his hands. Want to go to the Brackenbury Sanitarium and find Nance. She'll know more about this artifact, and I know for a fact she's bought them from our crew before. Okay, that's not actually that bad, because I was wondering why the hell she's even there. Immortal gazes out over the water. Anything else you need? How's business? He spits into the water. I'll be glad to sail with captains who are more careful about their cargo from now on. I don't give a worm's wings about the Duke's trafficking laws. I'm too old to fight ancient horrors. He takes a deep breath of the salty air. I just want to enjoy my twilight years doing an honest day's work. We probably need her help to combine the pieces. Right. Well, that quest isn't exactly over, but it doesn't matter. Where was the... He was here.
Well met, friend.
Roseno fidgets nervously. He grins hopefully at you. Any luck finding the captain's chest? Here you are, contents intact. You did it! I mean, I knew you would, but... Oh, thank you. It's all here. A little bit of experience. Fairly worthless. Whatever's inside there would probably be worth more. At the same time, I have no idea how you would have gotten access to it. You saved my life, friend. Truly. I owe you one. Here, the week's wages, like I promised. Glad to help. May Magron grant you victory in all things. Thank you again. So we got our copper back. We wasted on the scepter. Probably the contents of the chest would have been much more interesting. Assuming you can gain access. I assume you can. How? That's a different matter. You'd have to probably locate the captain. The necessary key from him. Okay, there aren't that many houses here, so Ada's house is probably where the boys' parents are. I don't care. I'm ending things here. First fires. Or Heritage Hill. First fires. I'm thinking of googling things again. The stronghold and send people to missions thing sort of what is this? What is the actions thing? What are these? Well, my main interest is rather I don't need details on what these missions are. I'd like the basics, like what's the point of assigning people here? Is it risk free? Things like that. What are the sort of the basic dynamics and possibilities, both good and bad, that this allows? And since the game is more than happy to just give me nothing, I think I'd rather rely on the internet for information on this. I don't recall anything about this. It's just lore, locations. Could be strong, yeah, but this is so little that this is borderline worthless. Actions, that's what it called. Don't think we have anything on that. Right, so what do we have here? Another large section. Valiant Embassy, we had to visit there anyway. Ducal Palace. Temple of Boudica, burned temple. So we know where the real temple is. It's in the crypts. So actually, what? Crucible Keep. So 4 sides. And then there's the Heritage Hill.